Hello friend. I want to tell you about the BMW 3 Series Technica. Compared to its predecessor, the F30 received a completely new floor pan and completely new engines, all turbocharged. The chassis is of course multi-link, in many cars with adaptive shock absorbers. The steering system is electrically assisted, and the car regularly featured driving assistance systems known to this day. The X-Drive four-wheel drive is a previously known solution with an electronically controlled clutch responsible for engaging the front axle. In practice, it works the same way in every BMW model. In the 3, it is tuned for sport, with the advantage of the rear axle, which gives traction values close to perfection in snow or rain. Engines. Only petrol engines with direct fuel injection and turbocharging were used in the BMW F30. Until the facelift, the N-Series engine family was used. After the facelift, the B-Series, both in the petrol and diesel range. The four-cylinder petrol engines have a capacity of 1.6 or 2.0 liters and power from 136 to 252 horsepower. There was only one six-cylinder engine, with a capacity of 3 liters and power of 306 horsepower, N55, and after the facelift 326 horsepower, B58. Of course, not counting the sports version of the M3, which should be treated as a separate model. The smallest unit, 1.5 liters, has 3 cylinders. It debuted in 2015, replacing the 1.6 engine. The diesel range was similar. First, the N family with 2.0 or 3.0 liter units and power from 116 to 313 HP, then the B family. Here, however, there was little difference from the petrol engines, because the N57 engine in 2 power versions did not find its successor and was offered unchanged until the 2018 model year. There was also no shortage of hybrid BMW 3 Series. 2 variants were offered. First, there was the BMW Active Hybrid 3 with a 6-cylinder petrol engine as a classic hybrid with 340 HP. From 2016, a plug-in hybrid and a 2-liter engine appeared. The model name was changed to 330e iPerformance, and the system power was 252 HP. In both cars, the drive was only rear-wheel drive. To properly understand the model's nomenclature and associate it with the engine, it is no longer enough to stick to the rule that the 2 in the middle is 2 liters and the 3 is 3 liters. BMW usually used smaller units than in previous generations. That is why it is worth using the list below. Apart from hybrids, in all petrol variants and in 2-liter diesels, the customer could choose between a manual gearbox and an 8-speed ZF automatic. Additionally, in petrols there were 2 automatic variants, regular and sports. In 3-liter diesels there was no such choice, the customer received an automatic as standard. X-Drive was offered as standard only with the most powerful diesel 335D, while optionally on all petrol versions with a 2-liter engine, except for the pre-facelift 320i in the estate. In diesels, it was not combined only with the 316D and 320D EfficientDynamics variants. Which engine to choose? Choosing an engine, taking into account only traction values, is simple in the BMW 3 Series. If you don't care about performance, take the model with the letter 1 in the middle of the name. If you are looking for a compromise between performance and fuel consumption, the letter 2 in the name is for you. On the other hand, for people focused on good dynamics, models with the letter 3 in the name have been prepared. And this is the best advice if you do not take into account exploitation. Unfortunately, the choice is not so simple. Suffice it to say that the Petrol 316i is the N13B16 engine, also known as the EP6 or Prince, a French-German masterpiece best known as the 1.6 THP. A masterpiece of technical flaws, the number of which is unimaginable, although the engine, when properly serviced and not spared on repairs, can reward you with surprisingly good dynamics and good fuel consumption. However, this is not an engine for everyone. You can read more about this engine in the text below. Its successor, the 1.5-liter B38B15, performs much better, although opinions about it are mixed. Overall, it is a successful, durable and fairly reliable unit, but you also have to take good care of it. In 2.0-liter engines from the N family, before facelift, special attention should be paid to the timing chain, which is estimated to last about 100,000 kilometers. It is worth replacing it at such a mileage, even if it seems to be in good condition. A set to replace 3 chains, sprockets, slides, etc., costs from about $350 to $700 depending on the part supplier. Additionally, problems were caused by oil pumps, which do not last very long, so it is worth replacing them at every opportunity to interfere with the timing. The larger 6-cylinder N55 engine fares slightly worse against the 4-cylinder engine, in which, in addition to the timing drive, there are problems with the Valvetronic system. Here, repair costs increase 2 or even 3 times. The optimal choice in a pre-facelift car will therefore be 2-liter engines. I do not recommend either the 1.6 or 3.0 engine to anyone, although both have their advantages, but only with very good servicing. Newer petrol units from the B family are much more refined, although, for example, placing the timing drive on the flywheel side generates higher costs during replacement. It is better to buy a car with such an engine for a bit more money and thus save on potential repairs. Here it does not really matter whether you choose a 1.5 or 3.0 engine, although of course the larger the engine, the higher the repair or servicing costs. The diesels follow more or less the same principle as petrols, i.e. 2-liter units for the economical and 3-liter for drivers who like to drive fast. The 325D variant seems to be the optimal one, which is a good compromise between the costs of using a smaller engine, but also dynamics similar to a larger one. In N47 diesels, special care should be taken with the timing chain, while in N57 it causes fewer problems, but any failure strictly related to the number of cylinders will cost more. Although N57 is considered a very good, durable engine, initially isolated cases of seizure of crankshaft bearings appear more and more often. In summary, when it comes to diesels, you can recommend any, but you should also be aware of the higher potential repair costs than in the case of petrol units. In my opinion, the best versions of the BMW 3 Series F30 are 2-liter petrols, preferably after a facelift. BMW 3 Series, what's breaking? One of the more serious faults in this car is the wear of the bearings and the breakage of the teeth in the rear differential. BMW did not take care to provide good lubrication here, so it is important that the oil is fresh. It is worth changing it every 2 to 3 engine changes. It is absolutely necessary to check for leaks. In turn, vibrations during acceleration or releasing the gas while driving may be the result of wear of the clutches connecting the shaft to the rear differential. There are obvious concerns about the durability of the xDrive drive, which wore out quite early in older BMW models. It's exactly the same in the F30 series. As a rule, problems appear between 150 and 200,000 kilometers of mileage. The front shaft, you can buy a more durable one than the original, or the mechanism of power distribution via chain and clutch may wear out. You will recognize the fault by the indicator lights, possibly jerking during acceleration and wheel locking when maneuvering in the parking lot, along with a distinct grinding noise. Cracking headlight lenses, breaking rear light mounts, crumbling windshield seals, breaking mirror folding mechanisms, not very durable door seals, creaking rear door seals or steering wheel when turning. These are minor but annoying problems that should not bother even 10-year-old premium cars. If you have any electrical issues, it's worth checking the power cable that runs from the trunk to the hood. The battery is in the trunk, and the positive cable connects to the one under the hood via a special connector that tends to corrode. It's also a good idea to look at the cable where it runs from the trunk area under the car. Fortunately, the suspension, brake and steering systems are durable, and the entire car is resistant to corrosion. Repair costs will be high, mainly in the case of parts responsible for the drive, from the engine to the differentials. Only the gearboxes are characterized by above-average durability, although it is worth remembering to change the oil regularly. Unfortunately, the costs of operation and repairs can be considered high, because cheap things here do not usually break down. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know any problems with this car that I didn't mention, Be sure to write about them in the comments.